Hey everybody, we are at Bend Cyclery. Eric Smith, owner, proprietor, bicyclist extraordinaire.
18 years.
All right, tuning up a bike. Typically, what's it mean?
First of all, take the bike from the customer and I'll put it in the stand and kind of go over it, because they usually don't know exactly how much work they need. A standard tune entails tuning the derailleurs front and rear, adjusting the brakes front and rear, adjusting the headset, which is the pivot point on the front of the bike, bottom bracket if need be. Most of them are sealed these days, but they used to be adjustable, so we can adjust that. And I actually got a stethoscope I put on, spin the wheel, listen for dirt inside the hubs. I do. I'm the bike smith, man.
So, what are you listening for?
Dirt inside the hubs.
Okay, and what problems can that cause?
That'll eat your races up, the bearings, the cones, everything that rolls inside there. If it gets all pitted up, and it's just not as efficient.
So typically, if somebody hasn't brought a bike in for a long time to get tuned up, what's going to go wrong? Maybe from disuse.
Most common thing I find is the Derailleur Hanger on the bike, which is the part the derailleur mounts to. It's a softer material than the rest of the frame, and it's made to bend and break away when you either lay the bike down in an accident, or someone lays it in the truck on its side. But what it does, it protects the derailleur from getting bent by bending itself.
And if it bends, what happens?
Well, you shift up into the easiest gear. Since the hanger's bent in, it will jump off the easiest gear, get caught in between the spokes and the cassette.
That does not sound good.
It doesn't. It can rip around or twist around and break right off the bike.
Yeah.
So I keep a spare derailleur hanger under my seat. I tape one there in case it gets bent. You just switch it out.
And what else should you carry on a bike, since we're talking about, tubes?
Yeah, always. Yeah. Tube, patch kit, pump, multi-tool, bug spray. No.
And what can go wrong up here?
Oh, improper shifting. If somebody is actually pedaling too hard on a bicycle and they hit the front shifter, the chain can get caught in between the chain rings and bend the chain ring, or cause a flare in the chain, which will cause your chain to break. So we're looking for bends in the rings as well.
And can the rings wear out?
They do. If you keep a new chain on every season, depending on how much you ride, you will not need to replace your cassette and chain rings. But if you let it go, you don't clean it up, it gets dirt on it, it grits, you have to replace the cassette, the chain, and all 3 chain rings at once. Keep a new chain on it, you don't have to replace it all.
So that's a good investment.
Those chain rings typically are about $100 to $160 for all 3. The cassette back here is anywhere from $35 to $500. You can put a lot in that guy. Chains are anywhere from $25 up to, again, $100.
What do you recommend? How often for a tune-up?
At least once a year on a tune-up, and I'll do an overhaul once a year as well.
And that's a lot different?
Yeah, what happens with an overhaul is we completely disassemble the bicycle, cut all the housings off of it. After that point, we grease and clean the whole bike. Take all the bearings out of both the front and the rear wheel. Headset, the pivot point at the front, completely disassemble, rebuild with new bearings and grease, new cables, housing, just like new again.
All right. Once a year, tune up, because if you don't pay me now, you'll pay me later. Is that what they used to say on the oil commercials?
You will pay sometime.
Yeah, all right. Eric, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
For sure.
We'll be back.